Hi everyone, Salesforce Lightning Web Component Day 2. So let's see what are we going to cover today. So we will talk about the previous session overview and we'll talk about one of the use case of the basic, and then we'll talk about the array, how to implement an array using the for each, how to implement an array using the iterator :item. So those are the topic which we are going to learn today, and then we'll have a interview questions. Now, quickly, what did we learn in the last class?
Aura versus LWC.
What is LWC and difference between LWC and Aura? LWC bundle.
At via property.
Right, so we have understood what is LWC and how it is different from Aura, and how can we write the code in LWC. Also, we have implemented a program, small basic program, how to write a basic program. Like if I wanted to pass some data from module from JavaScript to the HTML, how can I pass it? If I wanted to capture the data from HTML to the JavaScript, how can I capture? That is what we have seen in the last class. Now today, continuation of this, we are going to implement a LWC component to find out the greater number. Let's assume that I have an application. In that application, we are calling the LWC component. In the LWC component, I have a three input fields. Enter first number, enter second number, enter third number. Now user has to enter some number here. After entering the details, when I click on a calculate button, this calculate button has to get the values of all these three. All these three values has to be taken. Then do the whatever the logic is there and display the which number is a greater number, display it. Okay, you can show the alert message. Then if I wanted to clear the data, for example, user has entered here. Now let's assume that I have entered here first number 20 and next number I have entered 50 and third number I have entered 100. Now whenever I click on a calculate button, there should be an alert message saying that the greater number is 100. Greater number is 100. Now, I wanted to clear these values. In order to clear these values, I'll be using another button. If I click on a clear, these all values will be cleared and it will be displayed as a new form. Now, this is what we are going to implement right now. Now, here, what are the lightning tags which I'm going to use it? Lightning tag, I need lightning hyphen input, I need 3. And then lightning hyphen button, I need 2 buttons. Now what I'll do is I have a more than one button. So instead of creating like this, so I'll put this button into the button group. So we have a something called lightning : button group. I'll place these buttons inside the button group so that these two will be combined together. Now, what are the user is entering here? Now let's go ahead and take on change. On the lightning input, I'm going to use the attribute on change. Lightning input, label name on change equal to, I'll call a method here. So let's assume that if it is a on change on the first number, handle first number. handle first number. This is the on change. That means whenever the user is capturing whenever user is entering here, like I'm entering here 20, whenever the user enter here 20, on change immediately go to the handle first number method. Now it will get the value. How can I get the value? Yesterday we have seen, how can I get the value?
Event dot target dot value.
Event dot
Target dot value.
target dot value. I'll get by using this, I'll get it. Now I'll be storing this data into the local variable. I'll be storing this data into the local variable so that whenever I click on a calculate, that local variable is holding the first number, second number, third number. Then on the calculate method, I can do the logic. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Now let's go to the Visual Studio. Close all of this. Now, Control-Shift-P, create a Lightning Web Component, and web component is LWC underscore greater number. Whenever we create a Lightning Web Component, 3 files gets created: HTML, module, target. So in the HTML, let's go ahead and build the UI part of it. So I'll use the lightning card, lightning-card. Let's say title equal to greater of 3 numbers. Greater of 3 numbers. Now, within this, I need 3 lightning input. Lightning colon, lightning hyphen input. Label equal to enter first number. Enter first number. Then we'll have a on change. On change equal to handle first number. Now let me close this. Okay. Similarly, I'm going to take 2 more lightning inputs. This one is enter second number. So handle second number. Now this one is a third number. Handle third number. Now input design is completed. Now I need to have 2 buttons. Now buttons, I'll be keeping them in the button group. Now lightning hyphen button. Inside this button group, lightning hyphen button. Now inside this button, one label is a calculate label. Calculate. Now on click of this button, I'm going to call the handler method, handle calculate. Now, close this. I'm going to add another button which is going to clear the value. Second button is clear. Clear. So this is handle clear. Handle clear. Now we are done with the UI part of it. We are done with the UI part of it. Now we have a 3 methods here. Handle first number, handle second number, handle third number, and then there are 2 methods. So total 5 methods I have. So quickly I'll go and create these methods into the module. So this is the first method. And then we have a second method, handle second number. And then we have another method, which is a handle third number. This is for the input. Next, I have a button. This is a calculate button. Then the last one is a handle clear. Handle clear. These are the methods. We have these methods. Now on the handle first, I am going to capture the first number. In order to capture the first number, I'll use event dot target dot value. Target dot value. Now I'm getting on the first number. Now I need to store this value into the local variable. I want to store this into the local variable. So what I'll do is, let me declare a local variable. So let's say that F number, S number, T number, first number, second number, and third number. I'm going to store the first number into the first local variable, which is a this dot F number equal to. Similarly, second number, I'm going to store it into the S number. So this dot S number equal to event dot target dot value. Target dot value. And the third number, I'm going to store it into the local variable called T number equal to event dot target dot value. Target dot value. Now, whenever the user is entering the first time, whenever the user is entering the first number, it will go to this method, and whatever the user is entered that particular value, it is going to get it. Now, whenever user come to the second one, whatever the user is entering on the second, it is going to get the value and store it here. Now, the third one, I'm going to get it and store that value into the T number. Store that value into T number. Now, next one is once the user is entered, like I have stored all the values into F number, S number, T number. Now, the next step is calculate. Next step is calculate. So whenever the user click on a calculate button, whatever the numbers are here, I need to compare them. Is my first number is greater than second number, as well as first number is greater than the third number, then say that the greater number is first number. So those kind of a calculation I have to do. So similar like if F number is greater than S number and as well as F number greater than T number. That means if first number is greater than both of them, I'm going to show the alert message. Showing the alert message. The greater number is F number. Greater number is F number. Till this point, is it clear? Any questions, anybody?
Ma'am, they're like we are comparing like with this dot F number, right?
Yes.
So like why not F number? Why this dot F number?
Because as explained yesterday, if we are calling the variables to the any of the method, we cannot use, basically LWC does not accept the F number. You will not be able to get that. You will not be able to get that. So we always have to use the this dot F number. Possible that this might be the another variable. Right. So whenever we are using the local variable or any variable that are declared within the same component, if I wanted to use these
Access.
variables, we have to use this dot.
Okay.
Now, instead of comparing with the directly F number, S number, T number, what I'm going to do is, let me convert this into the integer. How can I convert the string to the integer? We did it in the Aura. How can we convert it?
Parsing.
Parsing. Parsing of this dot F number. Parsing this dot F number. I'm going to store that into the variable const equal to, let's say, A. Similarly, I'm going to store that const B equal to percent of second number. Similarly, third one, const C equal to percent this dot P number.
And
Now,
const B equals to parsing the spelling one.
okay. So here percent. Now, instead of this dot F number, what I'll say is A is greater than B. Similarly, here also A greater than C. Perfect. Now else condition, else if B greater than A and B greater than C, then show the alert message. Show the alert message. The greater number is B. Similarly, else, that is the final one. Else, show the alert number. Alert, which is the last one, C. First number, second number, third number, right? This is what we have implemented. Now, I have implemented it for the first method, second method, third method, and then finally calculate. Now let's go ahead and see the output. So let me copy this LWC component. Let's go to the Salesforce developer console. Here I'm going to use the LWC component C colon LWC underscore greater number. Now I did not deploy it. I did not deploy it. So let's go ahead and deploy. Control Shift P. Deploy the source to work. So it created the bundle. HTML, JS, and greater number. I have the details. So let me take the component name LWC underscore greater number. Now click on a preview. Now, creator of 3 numbers. We can able to see the UI here. Enter the first name, second number, and the third number. Then we have a calculate, we have a clear button. Now, if I want to calculate in the different color, this button should be the standard color. So what should I need to use it? What should I need to use it? If I want the calculate button should be displayed in the similar to the save button in the Salesforce. What is the attribute that is going to decide it? What is the attribute that is going to decide it? If I want this button should be in the different color.
Variant.
Variant equal to.
Variant equal to brand.
So let's go ahead and change that. So here lightning button. Let's say variant equal to brand. Did not deploy. Deploy the source to org. Nagamani, can you turn off the video? Right, so now let me refresh. Now it is coming in the Salesforce color. Now if I enter here, let's say 30, 67, 567. Click on calculate. What is happening? It is giving the uncaught object. JavaScript. Let's go here. Const A equal to %, const B equal to
Passing. I love you, but
% spelling. Let me deploy this. Refresh. Okay, so now let me try this. It's giving me the 352. The highest number is 352. The greater number is 352. Perfect. Now it is capturing the data and it is storing the data there. Any questions before I move on? Now what I'll do is,
Ma'am, yesterday you said like if there are more than one component, then it will be a different method, right? Like instead of event dot target dot value, you said like you will be saying tomorrow, right? I mean, like yesterday you said the same.
that is yet to come. What I said is it is similar like a calculate button. When I say calculate button, your first number is having a same on change. Second number is also having a same on change. Third number is also calling the
Okay,
same.
okay, okay.
In
Okay.
that case, how can we handle it? But here,
Okay.
what I am doing is we are calling the different method.
Different one. Okay.
Now, so next one is a clear button. When I click on a clear, it should clear out all this data. It should clear out all this data. Now, in order to clear all this data, what I'll do is I'll take a whatever the first number, second number, third number is there, those I'll make it as a null. So we have a first number equal to, directly make it as a null, second number equal to null, and the third number equal to null. Right? We have it, I made it. Now, whenever I clear it, whenever I click on a clear button, it will not clear the values. Let me show you. Deploy this source to org. Now I'm clearing the values here, but the numbers will not be cleared here. Now let me enter some data. Calculate 34 is the highest. I'm clicking on the clear. I'm clicking on the clear button. When I click on the clear button, what is happening? It is actually is null. This value is the local variable value is null. The local variable value is null. But when I make a local variable null, is that local variable is sending back to the HTML? No, we are not sending back to the HTML. Now here what I'm doing is I'm making the local variable null. When I make a local variable null, it should go back to the HTML and it should tell the HTML, but this one, now this value is changed by the JavaScript. Now you have to use the whatever the JavaScript is changed it. Whatever the JavaScript is updated, you have to use it. That means along with the label, if you remember, we have another attribute which is called value, which is called value in the input. In the input lightning hyphen input, we have another attribute called value. Value equal to. Now I can use the same, the local variable name here. Similarly, the second one, value equal to whatever the local variable is there, I'm going to place that. For the third one, value equal to T number. Curly braces, T number. Curly braces, T number. Now let me deploy. Control-Shift-T, deploy this source to org. Okay, so now refresh. Now, let's enter the data. So what should happen this time? This time, whenever I enter the data, take the data and check the greater number. Yes, 34243. And when we click on a clear, it should clear the value in the HTML. Value in the HTML component. Right? Calculate and clear, it is going to clear the value. Whatever the local variable I'm clearing it, I'm sending back to the HTML that use this variable as a reference. If through the any method is updating these variables, your input value is going to change. Right? Now, let's assume now we have a first number, second number, third number, everybody using their own method. Everybody is using their own method. Let's assume that in the real-time scenario, like this, enter first name, enter second number, third number, whatever you have. Let's take an example of a patient form, patient registration form. Now, in the patient registration form, you might be having a 20 fields in each page, right? And in the real time, if you take any other form also, assume that you have 100 fields or you have 50 fields. When you have more fields, are you going to write this logic continuously? Like for this, whatever we have written here, if I have 100 fields, I need to write the same logic for 100 times. I need to write the same logic 100 times, which is not good. You can do that. There is no harm in it. But as per the best practices, reusability of the code should be reduced. So writing this same code 100 times doesn't call that you are a best developer. Now, how can I reduce the code of this when we have a multiple input fields, and I wanted to capture the data here. Now, definitely we have to use the event.target. Because event is the one who is passing the data to this. And within the event, target only the one which is holding the field information, right? Now, after this target, this has to be changed. After the target, it doesn't call value. Now, let me show you that. Go to the HTML. Let's take that another lightning card and just using the existing one, copy, and then I'm pasting it here. Now let's assume that here I'm calling the handle change data. And same method I'm calling here, same method I'm calling here. Okay, all three input fields are calling the same method. All input fields are calling the same method. Now, that means I need to have this method. Let's copy this, Control S. Let's go here and let's implement the event and then this method, handle change data method. Now, Now, how can I identify that out of these three? Out of these three, which input field the data is entered in which input field? Possible that directly the user has entered the third number and then the second number and the first number. Possible that user has entered the second number first and then the third number, then the first number. Possible that user has entered the first number first, second number second, third number is third. Now we don't know which way the user is entering the data. Which way the user is entering the data. Now, what I need is basically from the development point of view, whenever the user is entering any data, I need to capture. First of all, I have to find out which component the user has entered the value. Whether it is a first component or a second component or a third component. Right? So what I'll do is I'll use another attribute we have here, name. Another attribute we have a name. So let's assume that this is a F1. S1. T1. Right? So T1. Now what I'll do is in the handle change data, now I'm going to identify based on this name. Identify based on this name. Now let's go ahead and see. Handle change data. Now what I'll say is const. Now before that, I have to use the event. Okay. Within the event, these many are there. Within the event, these many components are there. Event.target, event.t number, event.s number, event.parseInt, event.f number, event.handle calculate, event.alert. Like all these are there. Event.lightning element, but we are interested in target. Target dot, and also within the target dot, we have a value is there, as well as we have another name is called name. Target dot name. Find out the name of the component. Find out the name of the component. So I'm going to store that into the CMP component data. Now, if my component is F1, then I'm going to use event dot target dot value. You cannot directly jump onto the value. So you have to first find out the name, then get the value. Now I'll store this into the F number. I will store that into the F number. Similarly, I'm going to check if my component is S1. If my component is S1, then I'm going to store it into the S number. If my component is a T1, then I'm going to store it into the T number. Now I have everything, all the logic I have implemented only in single method. You can more sorted this. You can more sort it. How can you sort it? Here we are using the if else if. If you want to sort more of this, how can you sort it? What are the different ways to sort it out?
Nested.
Okay, what else?
Switch statement equals if else if.
While statement, right? So in JavaScript, we have a while. So you can use the while also. Do while. Right? So using that also, you can more summarize this into the smaller level of the coding. Now, if I get this data, now it is going to tell me the information. Now let me deploy this. Control-Shift-P, deploy the source to org. Now let's refresh. Now I have a two greater numbers. One is on top and another one is below. Right now, if I enter the data and click on a calculate, what is happening? It is giving me the 78 is the highest. If I click on a clear, it will clear the data. Right? So whatever the previously it used to work on it, then it is working on the same way. Any questions on this? Okay, so homework, implement a LWC component to find out the smallest number. Whatever the logic I have implemented, you can use the same logic, but you need to find the smallest number. And the second homework is implement a LWC component to identify the interest rate. You have a principal and you have a rate and you have a time in year. Based on this, you need to calculate the result. So when you click on a calculate, then the result will be displayed here. You know the interest rate calculation. Now moving.
So on chain, for that on chain, we need to give a same method, right?
Yeah, you can use the same method, or else you can write a different method also. Do it in that both the ways so that you will see the differences.
Okay.
Ma'am, one more thing. Actually, in HTML, the previous code, in HTML, we are using value is equal to fnamer, right? This dot fnamer, it will not, this will not come this time in HTML, ma'am.
HTML, we don't use this. This is a JavaScript keyword. That's not the HTML keyword. So we do not use that. Whenever we say value equal to F number, S number, T number, we don't use this.
Only for the utilization of a local variables in JavaScript, we need to be using like this, right? This
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yep. Now the next one is LWC array. So far, whatever we have done it, we have did a very basic. Even today also we did a very basic. Now, how can I pass the data from HTML to JavaScript, from JavaScript to HTML? And if I'm calling a same method for the multiple input field, how can I do it? Right? So these all are the basics. These all are basics. Now, moving on to this. Now we have a only single number here. Only single number. Let's assume that. Okay, so far whatever we have done it here, it's like a integer. This is what we did it. This is what we did it. Let's assume that I have a field which is holding the list. I have a field which is holding the list. Possible that city is the field. City is the field which is holding the values of, like it is holding the Hyderabad, Bangalore, right, Chennai, all the list it is holding, or even like a list of even numbers. List of even numbers. So even numbers are, it is holding 2, 4, 6, 8. These all are, it is holding it. Now within the variable, I have a multiple values. Within the variable, I have a multiple values. Now when I have a multiple values, how can I handle that into the HTML? When this F number contains the list of values, how can I hold that into the, how can I display the data of each one of them? That means I want to display the Hyderabad, and then I wanted to display the Bangalore, then I wanted to display the Chennai, like, or I want to display the 2, and then 4, and then 6, and then 8. Now, what are the list is there? Basically collection, the list of the data is there. I wanted to print one by one. I wanted to print one by one. Now, how can I do that? Let's see the use case, what we are going to implement. Implement a LWC component to display the list of cities line by line. That means I have to display the Hyderabad, then Delhi, then Pune, and then Noida, right? So these all data I have to display it. These all data I have to display line by line. Now the first question it raises to me, when I have a collection of data, when I have a data type is a collection, when my data type is a collection. Now how can I loop through this list in the HTML? How can I loop through this in HTML? Now, if you compare a Aura, Aura has a Aura colon iteration, right? Now, in LWC, how can I loop through the collection? How can, yesterday we have discussed two concepts. Somebody is calling me. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed that collection. In order to display the collection, two ways are there in the LWC. Now this collection has a multiple values. Now I wanted to print that values line by line. I want to print that values line by line. Now if I have to print that values line by line, how can I do it? So one way is to implement LWC is by using the for each. By using the for each. For each, I am going to pass here collection of list. Whatever the variable that is containing the collection of list, I'll be passing to the for each. For each is the keyword which I'll be using within the template. For each, then pass that variable collection of what are the variable that is holding the collection. That variable, I'm going to pass it to the for each. For this for each, there is another attribute called for item. For item, that means here you can give any variable. Here you can give any variable. Whatever the variable that you specify here per item, that is the variable which is used inside the template. For example, here I have used the A, per item equal to A. Then inside this, I can print the values by using the A, but that I need to put it into the curly braces. That I need to place into the curly braces. If I place into the curly braces, then I can display the values. Now then I can close the template. I can close the template. Right, so for each is the one which is going to display the information. For each is the one which is going to display the information. Now click on clear all. Click on clear all. Now let's go ahead and implement. Now Visual Studio, let me take the new component. Control Shift P, create a Lightning Web component. We are creating the LWC Array 1 is the first one. Hit enter. Okay. Now let's go to the HTML. First, I need to declare the collection. In order to declare the collection, I'll go to the module. Now within the module, declare the collection. Let's take a collection name is cities. Cities is holding an array. So let's take a Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, Chennai, Bangalore, and let's take a Noida, and then Pune. Okay, these are my list of cities. Now this is collection of item which is holding the multiple values. Now let me go back to the HTML. Here I am going to use the lightning card. Lightning hyphen card. Now let's say title equal to loop or array. Let's say array. We are using this for each. For each, we are using it. Now inside this, I'll use the template. Within the template, for each of, we have cities. The attribute name is cities. And then per item, we have per item. Per item, I'm going to specify a name to it. Let's say city. Now I'm going to print each city here. Right? That's it. So in order to divide that, so what I'm giving is, I'm just giving the hyphen here, or let's say the double semicolon. Deploy this to source org. Deploy this source to org. No.
Ma'am, in the lightning card, title spelling is wrong.
Right there. Deploy source to org. And let me copy the LWC component name. Let's go to the developer console and then use C:, the LWC component name. LWC component name. But what it is happening, it is printing in the single line. It is dividing it, but it is printing in the single line. Now, in order to break that, can I use a break here? This is the HTML tag. This is the HTML tag break. Right click, deploy this to source org. what is happening? It is saying that missing the key element break inside the iterator. Missing the key inside the break. That means if we are using any HTML tag, we need to pass the key. We need to pass the key. For example, instead of break, I'll use the paragraph. I'll use the paragraph. Now paragraph, I'll use this. Let's see what is happening here also. Control-Shift-P, deploy this to source org. Now what it is saying that same error. Whatever the error is there, same error it is saying. I did not say.
And that p tag, closing p tag should be inside a semicolon. Is that?
No. We do not have any semicolon there. So, okay, let me remove this semicolon.
This is HTML, okay.
Right click, deploy this to source org. Right, it is saying that missing key for the element paragraph inside the iterator. Whenever we are using any HTML tags inside the iterator, just a standard HTML tag, we cannot use it. Along with that, we have to use an attribute called key. We have to use attribute called key. So key equal to specify the same name here. Key equal to city. Now deploy this source to org. It is deployed. Key always has to be a city for the for item. Whatever the for item name is there, that for item name has to be passed to the key. Now let me go ahead and see the output. Now let's refresh. Now it is displaying the line by line. Now it is displaying the line by line. Now let's assume that, okay, so now it is displaying the each item line by line. Now similar scenario, whatever I have implemented with the for each, I can do it with the another one. There is another one which is called as a iterator colon item. There is another one which is a iterator. Same scenario, I can implement through the iterator. That means template, iterator, colon, give a iterator name here equal to collection. Now the same collection, same iterator name, I can use it inside it. Same iterator name, I can use it inside it. By using this iterator name. Now let me show you that. Now this is the for each one. And I'm going to use another lightning card. And this lightning card is a iterator or iteration. Inside it, I'll use template and say iterator. You can use iterator colon IT because it is by default, it is displaying it as a iterator colon IT. See that it is showing as I have entered here, it is showing me that. In case if it doesn't show you, you can give any name to here, like a item or something different value. If you wanted to give, you can give it. That's not an issue. Like item, I can give, right? And equal to cities. That is the collection of variable. Now let me end this. Within this, I can print item dot value, item dot value. Whatever this item is there, or let's take it as a it, because on top also it is an item. I'll take it as a it. Iterator colon it, whatever the it is there, it dot value. Now, if I wanted to display this in the paragraph, let's say P and end of the P. And here for the paragraph, we need to use the key. Key equal to whatever I'm printing here, same value I have to give for the key. Iterator colon IT. Iterator colon IT. So by using this also I can print it. By using this also I can print it. Either I can use the for each, so it is per item, specify the item name here, specify the item name, and same item you can use it. I'm not using here double quotes anywhere or single quotes. I'm not using anywhere single quotes or double quotes. Now let me deploy this source to org. Let's refresh this. Now on top it is a array per each, and the below it is a array iteration. You will not see any differences in the UI point of view. UI point of view, you will not see any differences. But how you are going to develop the logic, it's up to the developer. It's up to the developer. Developer can use the for each per item, or developer can use the iterator colon IT or iterator colon whatever the name of iterator name is there, they can use it. They can use it. Now, any questions on this? Now, let me take another example. Let's assume that I wanted to print the even numbers line by line. Even numbers I wanted to print it. Now, let me create one more. Control-Shift-P, create a Lightning Web component. I'll say LWC underscore event. LWC underscore event. Hit enter, hit enter. Perfect. Now, I need an attribute. Local variable is needed. So I'll say that even number. Did I give event? Okay. Even number equal to, let's say I'm going to print the even number 2, 4. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Like that, I can print on like a 12, 14, 16, right? 18, 20. What are the numbers that I'm declaring it here? I wanted to print line by line. So this is my even number. Now I'll use this even number. Go to the HTML. Now in the HTML, let me create 2 templates. Instead of a before template, let me use the lightning card. Lightning hyphen card. Title equal to, let's say, even numbers for each. Now, template, I'm going to use the for each. For each, I need to pass the even number. Yes, even number. And then per item. Per item. Let's say EV. Now I'm going to print this value. So I'll say paragraph. Within that, I'm going to print EV. Now for the paragraph, we have to give a attribute called key. Key equal to EV. That's it. Let me use another card for the iteration. And here template, I'm going to use the iterator. Iterator IT equal to and say even number. Even number. Now here instead of EV, IT dot value. Here also IT dot value. Let's say deploy this source to org. No. Refresh. Oh, sorry. I need to use the new LWC component. Rename LWC underscore event. C colon LWC underscore event. It is printing all the even numbers. This is for the for each, this is for the iteration. Right? Both of them are printing line by line. Now in the real time, whenever we are getting the collection of items, for example, I'm getting the collection of items. Whenever we get a collection of items, if you remember, we have a key and value. Key and value. Collection of items, list or set or whatever map, right? Map has a key and value. Let's assume you are printing some data from the Apex or somebody is passing a data in the format of key and value. Key and value. Let's say key is a name and the value is, suppose, let's take Archana, and then we have a city, right? And here the value is Dubai, salary, and we can give the salary here. So this is you are getting in the format of key and value. Key and value. That means how it looks like in the data whenever somebody is passing the data. Let's suppose somebody is passing the student data. So key value pair will be the similar like this. So it will have a JSON structure. JSON structure is name colon, let's say Jyoti. Okay, city colon, right? Let's say Hyderabad, and the salary. So this is the JSON format. So whenever we send any data to the LWC from the Apex, we will send it in the form of JSON format. Now, whenever I receive a data in the JSON format, how can I print that data? Now, this is one record. Okay, I'll show the one record how to print it. Now, if I have a JSON structure, let's say here, student equal to hyphen name colon. Let's take Sibita and city Chennai, comma, salary, colon, salary, right, comma, ID, or instead of ID, number. Let's assume that phone number. Phone number, or let me take age, right, colon, right, this is the details. Now, if you observe this, I did not specify anything in the, while declaring it, I did not say that this is a name is a string format, city is a string format, salary is a number format, age is a number format, number data type. I did not mention anything. But as soon as I'm done with the declaration, initialization of the variable, if I hover on that variable, it is itself is saying that name is a string, city is string, salary is a number, age is a number. So the data type is automatically taken by the LWC based on the value that we are assigning to the variable, based on the value that we are assigning to the variable. So it will automatically taken care. You need not to specify that string name equal to Sibita, string city equal to Chennai, string salary equal to 43,253, string age equal to 22, right? So I need not to specify the data. Okay, we can just simply write whatever we needed. Now I have the JSON format here. I have the JSON format. Now, when we have a JSON format, observe this. Here I have just one record. I have here just one record, which is in the form of JSON. It is in the form of JSON. When you have a single record, let me declare lightning card. So let's say student details. When you have a single data in the JSON structure, so it is a JSON. JSON, in a sense, it is a complex structure. Whenever you are printing the details from whenever you are bringing the details from the Apex, usually it will be in the JSON format. When you have a single record, you can directly print the single record. You need not to iterate through or loop through the record, because this is a single record. It is a single record. It's a single record. How can I say it is a single record? Because usually if it is a collection, it is an object. See here, the bracket is a different. And when I declared the student, it says JSON structure. So whenever you have a JSON structure, what you can do is you can directly print the values here. You take the variable name, local variable dot, you can say name, because that is the key here. And the next one which I have is city. Next one which I have a city. Next one I have a city. So I'll print the city. And next I have a salary. And the next one is age. Age. Now, this is the student name and student age. So student city. Student age. Student salary. Now let's see the output. Right click, deploy this to source org. LWC event. Let's refresh. Okay, it is printing everything in the single line. Now let me break it. Now here, whenever we are writing the paragraph, we are passing the key value. But right now I'm not into the paragraph, or not into the iterator. I'm not into the iterator. So now what I can do is I can simply use paragraph to break it, or else if you don't want a paragraph, if you want a break, you can use it either of that. Directly we can use it. When we are in the iteration, when we are in the for each, when I'm looping through the record, we need to pass the key. But when I'm not looping through the collection, when I'm not looping, or I'm not into the for loop, or I'm not into the iterator, then I can directly use the HTML tag. Deploy source to org. Now let me refresh. It is printing the student name, city, salary, age. Right? Perfect. Now, this is a single record. Similarly, if I have a multiple record, that means if I have, this is one record. So let me keep this object within that. I'll pass this as a single record. And I have another record, I have another record, I have another record. Like this, I have a collection of record data. That means in the table, in the student table, I have a student table. In the student table, I have a multiple records are available. Multiple records are available. For these multiple records, whatever we have it, I'm taking it from the table and printing it line by line. This is my first data. Similarly, second data, I'm printing it below. Similarly, I'm printing the third data below. Right? Like this, I'm printing the information. Now, if you have this format, this is a multiple records are there. If you have a multiple records, what you have to do? You have to take this logic, put it into the iterator, put it into the for each. Put it into the for each. You need to loop through the students, give an item to it, and for each item, print the name, city, salary, age. That's it. That is the homework. Homework is print the list of student details line by line. For example, you have these details. You have these details. So print all the details line by line. So iterate through this or a loop through this. Give a name to the each record. Right? Give a name to the record, and then while looping through the record, whatever the name you have given, whether it is a per item name or a iterator name, use that name dot name For example, for item name is a ST dot name, ST dot age, ST dot city, ST dot salary. That is the first record details. Now go back to the second record, similarly print the same data. Whatever we have written in the last session, sorry, whatever we have written in the last paragraph, like let me go here, whatever we have written here, take out this and put it into the for each here, and then the print the values. Will you guys able to do it? How many members will be able to do it? Any questions or else? If you are still confused on this array.
Once explained, I didn't get properly.
Okay, where did you have not get the properly? Have you understood the for each?
Yes, ma'am. For each I got it.
Iterator, have you understood?
Iterator, like I like in key we are taking it as a IT dot value, right?
Yeah,
Like what was that?
okay. So for each, whenever we are using the for each, right? So when we are doing the for each, I can directly print the value of per item. Okay. But when I'm iterating through it, basically iterate expect has to have some kind of a key value. Okay. Need not to be always key value. If you do not have a key value, it will directly take it as a value. Iterator always, I cannot print directly even number. I cannot directly print the even number, or I cannot print ET. Now let's see the example. Clear? Now instead of dot value, I'll remove the dot value, IT and IT. Okay. Similar like for each, I'm printing here also. Whatever the for each per item is there, the same number, same details I'm printing here. Here also iterator name, whatever the iterator name is there, that the same name I'm printing here. Okay, so let's deploy this. Deploy this source to OR. Now, there's, oh, I have not saved it. Let's save. B, Control Z. This is the original one. Let's deploy this. Okay, now let's go there. Let's go to the output. Refresh. What is saying that while compilation, it did not give me any error. While compilation, it did not give me any error. But while running it, it is saying that invalid key value. Invalid key value. Because iterator is expects the key and value. Iterator is expect the key and value. Now, here in this scenario, now in this scenario, even number has only one value. Okay, so whenever we do not have a key, by default it will consider as if it is a 2 is there. Okay, 2 is there. There is no key and value is not there. So whenever I use this kind of a list inside the iterator, whatever the data is here, it will convert same thing as a key value, 2:2, that is the key and value, 4:4, that is the second one. Or sometimes what will happen is, it is like a first one, it will take it as a 2, second one, it will take it as a 4. Like that, it is going to consider it. So whatever the single value is there, it will always be considered as a value. So that's the reason I have used it dot value, because iterator always goes with the values. Whatever the value is there, it is always goes with the value. Is that clear, iterator?
Yes.
Okay, now the next step is, what I have done is, now in the even number, I did not specify key and value. I just specified a value there. There is no key, I have not mentioned it. But is this the way that I am going to get the data from Apex? Like if Apex is returning the data to the LWC, I'll not be receiving like this, right? I'll be receiving maybe account name, right? Account city and account salary, right? Account age or a customer age. Like this, I'll be receiving the data. What are the account records are there? Account record, all the list of account records I'm querying in the S object. And then I'm querying in the account S object, and whatever the 12 records or 50 records or 30 records, the output is there using the SOQL query. That output I'm passing to the LWC. Which format will it be? It will be in this format. In this format, let's assume that Apex is sending only single record. When Apex is sending only single record, it will be like this. It will be like this. Now, when you have a single record, you can use this attribute name, whatever the local attribute name is there, that local attribute, that means student dot, what is the key for the first one? Key is a name, equal to, give me the value, Sidita. Second one, student dot, what is the key? Key, I have a city. And the next one, student dot Chennai. Sorry, salary. Give me the value of this. That's what I am printing right now. Now let's assume that this is a single record. If you have a multiple records, like a account, what are the method is there? The output of the return type is list of accounts. For that method, return type is list of account. That means I'm getting the list of account records. When I get a list of account records, I cannot print directly students.name, because I have here 5 records. Which name it will take? If I say students.name, which name it will take? In this case, it is clear, it is one record, student.name, only one is there, so it is taking the Sidita. But in this case, I have 5 records are there. If I say students.name, which one it is going to take? We don't know. So that is not going to work out. Now, in order to make it properly calling this, for this kind of a things, what I'll do is this students, I'm going to loop through it. That means I'll be using the for each, then I can say students. For each students. And then I can give here item. For this item, what I'll do is ev.name. ev.name. So here I'll say that students. So here I'll say students, and per item is EV. Now in this case, EV.name. Now I have a single record I'm getting. Now I can print single data record here. Single record data here. Now I can print all the student details here. All the student details I can print it. Similarly, I need to print the city. So if I want to print the city, another paragraph I need to write it, ev dot city, and then print the ev dot city. Similarly, salary, age. Once the age is completed, just put a one line so that next record will be displayed after one line. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now. So that is the homework. So far, what did we learn? So far, what did we learn?
LWC array for each
For iteration,
iterator item.
Iterator,
use case.
We have seen the basic lightning input use case, then for each,
Greater.
and then iterator. These are the three topics we have seen today. And this is the LWC super batch. Please do the LWC super batch, that will cover everything. Okay, I have pasted in the chat. That's all for today's class. Next, it will be going in deeper. Okay, so these are the very basic, how to call the import, array, everything. Now, little bit going into the more practical way next time onwards. Okay, there is another way to call the lightning input. All the lightning inputs you can call it. But before going to that, we need to understand all this, because that has a JavaScript code that we have to write. Okay, so for that we need to write this dot template dot query selector all. So those all we need to do it. But if I tell right now that thing, it is going to be too complicated. Like if I wanted to get all the inputs, what I can do is I have a 10 lightning inputs. All the 10 lightning inputs I wanted to get on one shot in the method. So if I want that, I need to use this dot template query selector. Query selector all. And then within this, we have to use lightning hyphen input. That means whatever the lightning input tags are there in the HTML, get all those data. What I'm doing, I'm querying it. So if we have to understand this concept, we need to understand few more things, then we will go to this point. So there are multiple ways to use the LWC. We will see that also after like a few sessions. Okay. So let me stop recording.